Friends, so Trump is trying to solve the world's number one problem, and it is the US number one problem as well. But before I go there, I want to tell you a very important, relevant point here is that in May 2021, when everyone was dying in front of the hospital, there were no ventilators and no oxygen masks and no vaccine remdesivir. There were no injections, those remdesivir injections, and there was no vaccine at that time. So they were in trials, and I was tracking the entire COVID from day one, from case one. I had been documenting the cases and the trends, and based on my data and the trends in the vaccines all over the world, especially the top six vaccines, I monitored it very carefully, and we made a prediction that in May 23rd was the peak of May 22nd or 23rd was the peak of COVID as per our knowledge based on the groups. I had more than 10 groups and 2,000 people were following in my company itself. There were two groups, 400 people joined those groups. So during that time, we made a prediction 9 months before telling that COVID will end by Holi 2022. And every month, every 15 days, we assured people that, please stay safe, don't go out because it's going to be okay. COVID will completely go away by Holi. And in February, COVID was there, and in March, that is Holi, the COVID was not there. There was no lockdown, especially in Bangalore. So the reason I am telling that is that because this correlation is also, that was a 9 month correlation. And 9 months ago, just 8 months ago, I posted a video that when will the actual Indian market crash? And next month is the ninth month for that. And look at the coincidence that we exactly predicted why and when the market will crash and what will be the trigger for that. So I will post the link of that video in this chat. Watch that video and you will be surprised and shocked of what I said 8 months ago and what's going to happen next month, right? So the bond market, so we particularly said that when the bond market crashes, that is when the stock market gonna go for a deep dive, and that's gonna happen. And that's what we said, when the yields gonna go and people gonna dump the dollars and everything we said is going to happen likely next month. So we have to see the coincidence here. 9 months is what it takes for the baby to deliver. 9 months is what it took for us, for our COVID things to come right. And now it is again 9 months that our predictions are coming accurate as such. And so dollar dumping is already happening now. China started yesterday. Japan started yesterday. And the yields are going up. So every expert in the market, every expert, including the very big, well-known financial influencers, have been predicting and telling that US has $9 trillion of debt and the Trump bond yields lower, and that's how his interest payments was. These things we have analyzed 3 years ago, not now. So, and we made a detailed assessment on it, and since last 1 year we have realized that is not going to be a game changer and solver. The real reason would be something else, and that will be the gold standard. So we already moved out from that narrative 3 years ago, and then a year ago we moved out. People are still now, the biggest of the biggest experts are discussing now about $9 trillion debt and ability to not take debt. And the interest payments, US is trying to reduce the interest payment. That is why he has imposed tariff. This is not the thing, guys. He already rolled it out. The maker thing is the gold standard. So what US wanted is, it wants the gold standard. It wants the bond yields. See, Trump is trying to think on that perspective also. It is not a wrong thing, but that's not the major thing, because it's not going to happen. It might be as part of the time plan. We analyzed this 3 years ago as well, but we realized that 8 months ago and 9 months ago that this is not going to work, and it is not working now. So most of the analysts are telling that US bond yields will crash, and that is how Trump is going to reduce the interest payments for the US. But let me tell you, it is not gonna go down. The yields will actually go up, and that is what we made predictions in our thing, that the yields will go up. Because if the yields, what nobody is talking now is that if the yield goes down, dumping can happen immediately by many countries, because right now the yields are higher, and the guys who are holding the US Treasury bonds, their yields are at a higher rate. If the yields goes down, sorry, their yields are at a lower rate. So if the yields goes down, so then they can easily sell and exit. But if they sell at a higher yield, then they have to incur a lot of losses, like Silicon Valley Bank, which got bankrupted just because of the yields. They have to sell up. There was a bank run, and they have to sell up the treasury bonds, and they couldn't, and they had to sell in losses, because when they took the bonds, the yields was less, and that time the yields were very high, and so there was a huge loss, and they got bankrupt. So China has $1 trillion almost of US Treasury bonds. Japan also has $1 trillion of Treasury bonds. So if they have to dump that, if they dump now at these higher yields, they're going to, they will be in massive losses. But then, yeah, they will also incur losses for US. But that was that. So no one is talking that if the yields goes down. So first point is that everyone is talking that the yields will go down, and this is what is Trump plan to save money. But I'm telling you, though it might be Trump plan, it's not going to become true. That's point number one, because yields are not going to go down; it is going to go up. Second point is that people are not talking that if the yields goes down, it will crash the dollar immediately, because everyone is going to dump the dollars. The bond market will crash, the stock market will crash. And that's exactly what we have said in that video 8 months ago, which the next month is 9. So the bond markets are going to crash, and that will be the trigger for the gold to go up, and your stock market to crash crazy. So we analyze lot of things for 2 years. I analyzed it. I posted lot of messages, hundreds and of messages in the group, not hundred, maybe thousands. So trying to analyze what DFP is a problem, interest rate is a problem, inflation is a problem. What exactly is the thing that is the solution for this US debt problem? So let me repeat again. So the US number one problem for the US and the world is ability to take debt for the US, and that is the number one problem. Now what is going to happen is Trump is trying to solve that problem, the US ability to take debt. And guess what? The problem he's facing in doing that is the ability to take debt itself, because his bonds are going to crash. The bond is actually the ability to take debt. So no, there are no buyers. The tariffs has created no buyers in the market. Now no one will buy US Treasury bonds, knowing that, especially long-term Treasury bonds, knowing that US is gonna dump. US is such thing. It's not, it's not. It can take drastic decisions. It can do sanctions on countries. It can increase tariffs like crazy on any country. So no one is going to buy the US Treasury bonds. And if people know that, hey, now people are waking up to the fact that US can actually crash the dollar. US can actually crash their economy. I mean, who ever thought that a president is looking to crash his economy and people will be saying Jai Ho for him? So, and he's right. He's not wrong, actually. He's right, because he has to get the gold standard. He has to make sure, people in America has to get down and hands off work, because right now they are, one of the person in US has said, and he has been silenced, not in that sense, but he was not Vivek Ramaswamy. He was not able to speak after that, when he said that US people in the US are lazy and they don't much work, and he has been bashed like anything. That after that he has not spoken anything. So but that is the thing. The people in US may not be as quick in hands in physical work. For manufacturing to boost, you needed people to work very fast, to be brisk, to be even thinner and energetic. And I'm not telling they are not, but you have to see the overall population. and see how much it's going to be a change. Because even if I am not addicted to working something, I'll have to adapt. It's a long term. So what China can do, what the Chinese machines can do, US can't do overnight in a manufacturing. Want to bring back the manufacturing and do all these things. It's not gonna be easy. It will be a grind. People have to grind a lot. There will be hard times. There will be tough times for the US citizens. And that is how US the Trump want to fall the economy. People realize tough times, there is a recession, people lose their jobs, people get tough times, they are not able to pay back their interest, then they start actually putting the effort for living, and that is when the manufacturing will boost, and that is what going to happen. And that is why, and when that happens, that is when US will be aiming for exports, because then it is going to be either self-sufficient or maybe exports. And in gold standard, you have to be self-sufficient or you be an exporting country. If you are a massive importing country like US is today, the gold standard, even if they bring, they're gonna kill themselves. So that is why, irrespective of how much gold they have, because other countries are going to ask either gold or a gold currency, and you can't print that much and give in a gold standard. So that is why Trump is doing right. He wants a recession, he wants a depression, he wants people to be depressed. They work hard, very hard for living, and then they work very hard, swift, and then they realize the value for this job and earning money through that. And even if it is a little money, they will be satisfied with that. And it's going to be those back old days where people used to work in a small bank as a manager or something, and used to be very rich guy or very well known person, or maybe very well respected. Today respect is given based on how much you earn. So that is how we have lost the things, right? So now US Trump is doing the right thing, getting people into that mode and trying to see, and so he's getting ready. He's checking all the marks. Okay, people have to get ready. People should have savings. The debt should be removed. The people's household savings has to be deposited. They should know the value of what this inflation every year. Today 50 lakhs flat. Tomorrow it becomes 70 lakhs. Then after 2 years 80 lakhs. This entire certain inflation is creating people greedy, and then they are owning so many houses. They are going crazy on the debt. And then they are they can't fail, because if they fail, then the banks fail and everyone fails. So government is also supporting that with printing massive money. They don't want all these things. So if you buy an asset like real estate or a flat for 50 lakhs, it should go only 1%, 2% in a year. That is what Trump wants. Houses should be affordable. It should go slowly. The gold standard, how much gold you can earn by manufacturing or doing an export of a service, or innovation, or through technology, or whatever it is, or through a service, you should earn it, and then only the government can print that much of money. So this is what Trump wants, and he's ticking all the boxes. You can see the gold standard is coming out, and that's what it is coming. And the share market, the mutual funds, the SIPs, these are all going to crash when the bond market crashes. And we have told this in our 8 months old video. It is going to become 9 months, and just watch it, how much fun it is. Whatever we are telling is going to happen next month. The dumping is off of the things are already started, and yeah, please do follow. So whatever we are telling now, you be assured, or at least give a higher possibility that is going to happen, because we are not telling just on the fluke, right? There is a day, there is a work behind it. I have worked almost 3 years continuously tracking every data point, whether it is a BTFP program, or the economics conditions of US, the job data, the inflation data, tracking the bond deals for 30 years, 10 years, 2 years, the debt markets, their bond markets, the call markets, everything I have tracked for 3 years to arrive at a point on when the actual crash will happen, and I have documented it. And if people have benefited it, And based on that, we have also said that the gold will go crazy based on that, and that's going to happen next month, guys. And people who have believed in us have started investing in gold in like what 65 70,000. Now it is what 90 94,000. So it's not about how much people have invested. It is about the opportunity lost, right? See, someone who has not invested at 70s, they will think that, hey guys, 100k now investing is little difficult, 95k let it fall, and they will lose that opportunity. So that the opportunity to grab that investment, it's not about the price, it is about staying invested in that asset is difficult, because many people can't make this decision now, and that is where you lose the opportunity. Not in the price, it is about the opportunity to the decision making to get involved in that investment is an important thing. So that's why I've been recording so many videos trying to give data to all the people around, telling that guys, still 1.5 lakhs you can buy. Don't be shy, don't be shy about missing an opportunity. It is not missing an opportunity, just look at the numbers. The gold will go crazily, it has to be reevaluated. Trump is doing step by step. European countries also, now Australia, China, everyone has to go with that. And this time, the good thing about which no one is talking now, they're going to talk in 5 months or 6 months or maybe a year later. I'm going to tell you now is that you see, everyone is, you see, if right now due to tariffs and manufacturing and sanctions on each other, at the end of the day they will go with sanctions on each other, US and the China, and the manufacturing will take a hit, US will take a hit on it. Now, what happens, what is Trump plans, and what also happens is that by hitting US, by hitting China, they are doing one more big thing which nobody is talking in this. You can go and search, nobody is talking about this. But hitting China, they are actually delaying the gold standard of the BRICS. And I'll tell you why. Because as long as China is in recession, and it is a deep recession, and their things are hit, they can't bring in gold standard, because China has to spend a lot of money to improve it. They can't leave it to the public, to the public to actually boost the economy. It can't happen, because their economy, the public has been hit. So here what happens, to boost that economy, government has to spend a lot. Government has to devalue their currency, and then government has to do a lot of spending, like infrastructure spending. And if China brings a gold standard, they can't bring that spending in China, and that is where Trump has actually hit the China hard, and is actually spot on in his game. I mean, I couldn't imagine a better play than this, because, and we have visualized all this play earlier, but it's been happening so accurately the way it has been done, because that is the only way China can. So the biggest fear of US is that they are putting all this traffic before the US is ready. If the gold standard comes, then they are in a soup, because they haven't bought enough. I mean, by their standard, to be number one across the world and be able to compete with US and all the nations. So they are not export ready yet, US. They are not bought too much of gold as such, as much they wanted. So US also needed some more time to be really able to, maybe few more months, to be really able to get to their target, maybe secretly. So that is where, so if China in between, this month itself gets a gold standard and starts supporting some instruments which is backed by gold, and the gold shoots up, then US won't be able to buy that much. So that is why US wants to kill, first target China, because targeting China is like targeting the gold price. Because if China can't bring in gold standard, they can only not bring in when they are in a deep recession and shit. And Trump has exactly done that by putting them in a deep shit of deep economic collapse. $20 trillion of economy is collapsing, and they are already down, and now it is all manufacturing down, and they are heavily dependent on manufacturing, and now the yuan will be depreciated, so they will be running short of, they will be selling their dollars anyways. So So now it is up to China to take that hit for long and then buy the dollar, buy the gold now, so that, and don't give opportunity for US to buy that gold. Then there will be a mad rush. So I'm telling you, in 4 months, whether you like it or not, both China and US will be competing very hard, not on the tariffs, not on the trade, but on the gold. So I'm telling this news in the very end because I want people, whoever watched till this end, to actually really get the message, because there is a madness behind every prediction that we are doing. It's a research. It's not just someday I wake up and give a video telling that hey, gold will go up. So many people are telling gold will go up now. There is a difference between what we are telling, the data we have, the backing we have, the insurance we have, and almost I don't know, maybe 50 crore investment might have gone just based on my advice on the gold, and it's increasing every day. So that's why I'm telling that the research is very packed, and whatever we are telling is happening systematic. You'll be surprised. Watch the link which I am giving in this chat. You'll be very, very surprised that what's happening tomorrow, right? Thank you so much. Bye, God.